You're mid-sentence, and you know exactly what you want to say, but you just can't say it. And your mind starts spinning. You start thinking about a million things and a million reasons why. Why is it so difficult? I don't know enough. I need to learn more. I'm just lazy. What am I even doing? What's wrong with me? You start spiraling. And the problem is, you get stuck not because you don't know English or your English is not good enough. You get stuck because the process of how you get your ideas out or how you create them in the first place before you even get a chance to speak them, the problem is there. You're running it through a different language first before the words leave your mouth. And that's the real problem. Because by the time the translation is done, well, the moment is gone. And in a real conversation, that time is everything. The 5 things we're gonna cover today hold all the answers to your questions and your problems. Why can't I do it faster? Why can't I think in English? And most importantly, how do I start and what do I do? Today we're talking about that. This video is not about vocabulary, it's not about grammar, it's about rewiring the way your brain handles English in real time. And if you watch until the end, we're gonna get it done. Hey, I'm Venya. I'm an English teacher and a content creator, and I've been doing this for a really long time. I mean, the content thing, the teaching as well. And one thing about me you should definitely know is I am not a native English speaker. I wasn't born in an English-speaking country. English was not my first language whatsoever. Just like you, I had to learn it and I had to get it done because that's what I wanted to do. And my journey was definitely challenging and not very glamorous, but we got it done. And I'm here because I want to help you guys. I want to help the next generation of English speakers and English learners to do it in a better way. And by better, I mean faster, more efficient, and of course, fun. That's the most important thing. Here's what's actually happening inside of your brain when you freeze mid-sentence. Your brain has 2 paths of producing speech. The first one is direct. Thought goes straight into words and out of your mouth. Native speakers of any language use this. It's automatic and it's direct and it's quick. It does not really require any conscious effort. And then there's the second one. The second one is translated. Your thought starts in your native language, then it converts into English, and then it comes out of your mouth. And the conversion takes time. The time that we don't really have. And here's why it's happening. Well, first of all, it's your native language, so obviously you've had years of experience expressing your thoughts and ideas in your native language. That's no surprise. But the reason why you do it with English is because your brain is prioritizing accuracy over speed. So the signal or the thought or the idea is being routed through your native language as a safety precaution. So to put it simply, you do it because you don't want to make mistakes, but ironically, because of that exactly, you make more mistakes. So think of it as a highway. Right now you're driving from point A to point C, right? Point A being the idea, the thought, and point C, your spoken words. But instead of going this direct way, you are starting at point A, your thought, then you take a big massive detour to point B, your native language, and then you try to get back on track to point C, your spoken words. It takes longer and you waste more gas. Not efficient. So our goal here is to make sure the thought to English out of your mouth is a direct pathway. And it is a conscious effort that you have to make. It is trainable and it's achievable. And what you need is a direct association from concepts to English or your second language. The fastest way to start thinking in English is not to study more. A lot of people think this way, but it just never works. What you do have to change though is what you touch, what you see, what you experience, and attach English to it. This concept is called sensory anchoring, and here's the principle. Your brain is sort of building a website. Bear with me. And right now, every object in your environment, your phone, your desk, furniture, your coffee, whatever the case may be, they have a link attached to them. And when you click on that link, the first page that opens is your native language page. So every time you want to click on that image, what pops up is your native language. And English comes second. And we need to flip that. We need to make sure you get to choose. And if you want to do that, English can be the default language for whatever the link is. So here's an exercise. Pick just 10 random objects around you right now. Look at them. If they are close to you, touch them. Not a word list, but things that you can actually touch and grab. First, you're going to go through them and assign an English label to them. Desk, glass, monitor, computer, phone, camera. Then we go deeper. So if one of your objects is coffee, right? Touch it. What do you feel, right? The mug is warm. Say that. Now pick it up. It's full, so it's kind of heavy. The mug is a bit heavy. Take a sip. What does it taste like? A bit bitter, huh? Or did you put a lot of stuff in it? It's sweet. You can barely taste coffee. Whatever it is, assign an English label to it. Not just desk, right? It's a wooden desk. It's a bit cluttered. I need to clean it up. It's a bit worn out, scratched up. Not just objects, but things that you can observe related to those objects, things that you feel when you touch it, things that you, just like with coffee, things that you taste, right? You want to attach all of your senses to this object and do it in English. And this particular exercise is called contextual vocabulary embedding. And it works because you're basically just bypassing the memorization loop. I'm just going to read it a whole bunch of times and memorize flashcards. You are attaching English words directly to a sensory input. So the goal is simple. When you look at something, you smell something, you touch something, reach for English first. And if you don't know the word, doesn't matter. Try anything. The coffee is bitter. If I can't say that, if I don't know the word bitter, I'm going to say, the coffee tastes strong. The coffee is not sweet. Your job is to make sure you can actually speak through those things. Even when you get stuck, you have to find a way out. And then when you're done, find the word. Find it. And then speak through it again and again and again. Once you can do it comfortably in your environment, whatever it is, it happens in your conversations. Just like that. Most English learners, they practice in their head, and not even that. What I mean is they think about English, but not in English. You want to think through English like it's a tool. It's a lens, not the camera itself. You are the camera. And that's the mindset shift. You are capturing these moments, but English is just what you can see through. And guess what? When the time is right, when you want it, your other lens is your native language, and then you can do that as well. Now, this next thing is kind of counterintuitive, and you might think it's a bit weird, but hear me out. Bear with me, all right? The more time you give yourself to think, the worse you speak. That's just how it is. The moment you pause to find the perfect word, the perfect way to say something, your brain takes that opportunity. Your brain is quick, and it's smart. It takes that opportunity quickly to activate the translation mode. It's quite simple. You give it time, and it takes it and uses it. So how do you fix it? Remove the time. Don't give your brain any time. And here's an exercise for you. Rapid fire reaction. Let's call it that. And you can practice with a partner. You can do it on your own. You can use AI for this. Doesn't matter. But you have a question or a prompt or something that you need to respond to. Your job is to respond or start responding within the first half a second or 1 second. You don't plan, you don't organize, you just speak. You just jump off and you figure out how to land in the air. Whatever comes out, and it's terrifying, I know. Your ego and your pride are at stake. I get that. But that discomfort is exactly what you need. You will not be perfect from the first try. You will not be perfect at first period, but you will get better and better. And you will notice it too. So for this one, and just in general, you need to give yourself permission. You need to be willing to speak imperfectly, on purpose, repeatedly. It's a conscious choice you have to make, and listen to me, please, this is very important. If you do not make that choice, if you do not allow yourself to speak imperfectly, you will not speak. It will never happen. You will never learn enough to just bypass this stage. This is not a side effect. This is not an obstacle. This is an important part of the journey that cannot be skipped. You can't skip steps, because when you try to skip steps and cut corners, the quality suffers. So make mistakes. Make mistakes and don't apologize for them. Catch yourself, correct yourself, or just make mistakes and let them live. Whatever. Who cares? You do, of course, and you care more than anybody else does. You're the only one. Literally the only one. So practice. Every day set a timer, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just speak. no plan, spontaneously about anything. No stopping, no correcting. If you catch yourself in the moment, of course, correct yourself. That's a normal thing people do. But just talk about your day, your feelings, your plans for tomorrow, whatever. This movie you've seen, the book you've read, the content doesn't matter. Volume and consistency, those things matter a whole lot. Because you're not practicing being perfect. You're training your brain how to find English on its own. And if you don't do that, it won't. Your brain is very smart and very efficient. If it has an easy way out, it will take it. Don't let it take it. All right? That's how you actually build fluency. Now, this next point is pretty interesting, but also very, very important. Language does not only live in your head, it also lives in your body. Native speakers don't just know words, they know the rhythm of the language, the stress pattern, the cadence, the music of it. And that rhythm is stored in the physical memory, in the muscles of the mouth, throat, face, breath. That's why two people can have identical vocabulary and grammar knowledge, and one sounds natural and the other doesn't. So for this one, you already know shadowing. Shadowing is a great tool to use, a great practice technique. But when you do shadowing, number one, don't just mumble after the person. Don't say it in your own way. Say it exactly, or try to copy exactly how the person said it, down to body language, facial expression, and tone of voice. Your job is to build muscle memory. Your body needs to remember what it feels like to do these things. Everything I've talked about so far is a technique, but techniques are not enough to actually break through. What you actually need is a shift in your operating system, and that only happens through sustained exposure, aka consistency. So here's your 24-hour English fluency blueprint. Let's call it English first. In the morning, as soon as you wake up, don't check your phone, don't speak to anyone yet, right? Before any of that, your first internal monologue in English. Or if you can, do it out loud. For example, what do you need to do today? Think about it in English. Or say it out loud, even if it's broken, even if it's too simple, English comes first. Throughout the day, label your experiences in English as they happen, not after, in real time. Again, if you can, do it in your head or out loud. For example, you're sitting in traffic and you can say, oh, this is frustrating. I should have left earlier. This is so annoying. I'm late. You're eating lunch. Oh, this is bland. It needs more salt. And in the evening, if you have some time, set a timer, use AI, use a friend, do it on your own. Rapid fire reactions. You have a question, answer. Start answering immediately after the question is over. The bottom line is, and I'll be very honest, the goal is not to speak English. The goal is actually to stop speaking English. But what I mean by that is stopping the conscious effort. You are speaking English. You sit up, you tense up, you really focus, you search for things, your eyes are just going crazy, trying to look for things, and you can't find them. You are managing it, you are very well aware of it, you are working at it, you are applying pressure. And the subconscious speaker does not do that. For them, English just happens. It's like breathing, it's like walking. You relax, you don't have to think about it, it just flows, it just comes out, and it's possible. Because this state is not just reserved exclusively for native speakers. It's not a gift or a talent, it's a product of training, consistent training with the right focus. And you can get there. I did. And I was not born speaking English once again. I learned from zero, and I had no one to guide me really. And you do not have to go through the same thing I did because, well, this is why I'm here. Now, if everything I describe in this video is exactly why you feel stuck and you really feel the pain, you know English, but you hesitate, you doubt yourself, you overthink, and then the moment is gone and then you just punish yourself and you beat yourself up. It feels slow. And when it does come out, it feels like it's too basic. Your idea and your feeling is so big and so descriptive, but you couldn't quite put it into words. And you start punishing yourself and beating yourself up. I am an adult. I am this type of person. I've achieved this and this and that. Why can't I speak English properly? Of course you can. That's not the problem. You're just not giving yourself a chance to do it. You're filtering too much. Your brain is just going crazy translating everything. You're giving yourself way too much time. You're trying to prepare for things you can never prepare for, like a spontaneous, real conversation. But it's a good thing because now you have a sense of direction. Now you know what you need to do. And I hope you do just that. And this is exactly what my program From Intermediate to Advanced is built to fix. It's not just a vocabulary course or a grammar course, it's a full fluency system designed to take someone who is struggling a bit and turn them into a consistent, natural, fast speaker. It's a structured path that does not leave you guessing. I'm gonna leave the link down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching this video. Just remember, you can do this. You really can. You just have to allow yourself and give yourself permission to do it. I know you're scared. I know you're nervous. I know you're shy. I know you don't want to feel embarrassed, but those things are necessary. I'm sorry, but they are. And if you are trying to avoid them, you will not get to your final destination, because those things, once again, they are not obstacles. They are natural steps in this process. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments. And once again, check out the link in the description box down below to join From Intermediate to Advanced. I'll see you there. Thank you so much. Until next time, peace.